Y'all hear that? Listen, listen, listen. Like, yo! Like, bro, listen to me. For so long, for so many years, from the moment that I first dived into this magnificent story, there's been one constant from the very introduction to the series: wealth, fame, power. Like, yo, from the very first page, from the very first moment, I've always wanted to know about good old Goldie. And as this series has progressed, and we've continued to know and learn about what kind of man this dude was, it reminds me back to when I first went through Logtown, and I was just so infatuated by the aura, the mystique of the man, the myth, and the legend, the former king of the pirates. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about one man. Goldie Rosa. Are you kidding me, son? And as this progressed, like, yo, I'm telling you, that is the greatest filler in the history of fillers, man. That stuff with Roger, when I go back and reread the manga portion of Logtown, it's like my mind just puts that in there, even though it's not there. It's like I'm putting it in there. That is how amazing it is. That in-canon filler content of the Roger stuff in Logtown. And it doesn't stop there. As people mention him, Water 7, Skypiea, as the series goes on, and you hear mentionings of the Oro Jackson, of Rayleigh, and all of the stuff that is going down, the more stuff you hear, the more interested I become. So much so that the more scenes have been showcased, especially when they get animated, as I've said multiple times on this channel. My favorite parts of One Piece to rewatch when I'm just chilling on YouTube and feel like watching some One Piece almost always have to do with Roger, Shanks, Blackbeard, and the King. When it comes to Roger, the stuff like his conversation with Rayleigh, the stuff like whenever my boy was like, yo, you want to turn the whole world upside down, his convo with Whitebeard, recently the one with Pedro. I mean, I rewatch them all. I can't get enough of it. It's the greatness of Goldie Roger. And I'll never forget when I first went through Sabaody, and you realize the kind of man that this dude was. That he didn't get captured, he gave himself in. And you're like, wait. Like, hold on, Chief. Hold on, Coach. And then in chapter 550, you get that revelation of legend of who his little boy is. Of who carried on his bloodline. Goldie Ace. And he entrusted that legendary character into the hands of his eternal rival. Something that he means so much near and dear to my heart. I love rivalry so much in storytelling, dog. Y'all you don't even know. And the fact that we got an insight into that Roger, against a dude who he's fought, I'm pretty sure, millions of times, to death. And he entrusted his boy to him. Not to any of his crew members, but to Garp. And it's just like, yo, bro, look who is Roger. And then as we progress even further, Whitebeard's final speech, the man Roger is waiting for, ain't you, Teach? And it's like the more context is created, the more we figure out about this character, the more we learn about the greatness of Roger. It starts turning less of, I really like this character because of the mystique and all around him, to I just want to know how the dude was. What kind of a character was he? What kind of a personality did he have? You know, especially, he wanted to turn the whole world upside down, bro. With Rayleigh, all he had was a boat to his name, just like Luffy. I say, yo, let's go do this thing, man. Let's do it. And for so long, the one thing that I had wanted to see above all others things in the series, aside from the finale with Luffy finding the One Piece and him meeting Shanks again, was the inevitable Roger flashback, because I thought that was going to be heavily connected to some of my favorite stuff in the series. You know, the mysteries with the One Piece, the Void Century, the ancient weapons, and of course, Roger and his past, right, with those characters. And to get the insight that we got in chapters 966 and 967 still leaves me speechless. And just the way that he executed it, man. I can't believe it. I can't believe that these chapters actually exist. I can't believe that Oda released at the end of last year 2 of the most magnificent chapters in the entire story. 967, without question. I haven't made a top 10 One Piece chapters list. You know, I just go off my brain and be like, okay, I love that one. I absolutely adore that one. I know, generally, I know what my top 10 to 15 are. 967 is without a doubt in my top 10, maybe even top 5. Alright? You know, that's a legendary chapter, bro. And it's like this one thing that I had been waiting for so long. Because of my fascination with a type of character like Roger. Not only just in anime and manga, but in other pieces of fiction as well. You know, with Big Boss being my all-time favorite character. And just knowing how Kojima handled him, I was like, bro, I want to know how Oda's going to handle Roger in his past, because the way that Rayleigh spoke about the Void Century made it feel like, yo, once they learned something, it shifted and changed everything, you know. So I wanted to know, how did Roger react to learning about the One Piece? How did Roger react to whenever he saw it? How did Roger react to learning about the Void Century? You know, what led up to that moment? How did he react to the news of knowing that he only had a couple of years left to live? You know, that he had this life-ending disease, and that he only really had a couple years left. It's like, what was Roger's story? Was he always this way? You know, or did life circumstances change him to whenever he found out that he was going to die, he started doing everything that he always wanted to do? You know, like, I wanted to know everything about Roger's character. And the fact that we have these chapters now to look back on and be like, man, Roger and his crew being completely showcased with Kozuki, Odin, and Whitebeard. 966, man. I mean, come on, bro. After the legendary 965 final spread, with Roger straight up looking like just an older version of Ace. I mean, my boy Shanks was eating chocolate after having taken on some goons. Rayleigh was looking beast. Scopper Gabon was looking beast. I was like, bro, this is what I'm talking about, Buggy. I was like, yeah, I'm barking out here. But then 966 managed to top that, man. And then 967 managed to top that. Man, the one I've heard about Weak Man Odin. Am I supposed to steal the treasure? Roger Pirates are bad news. And the fact that this man Odin went in. I mean, and we know how strong Odin is. He started going up in like swimwear. And they're like, yo, the stories are true, man. This Odin guy is strong. And then Scopper and Ray, bro, the fact that Rayleigh was touching this blade was so nasty. Should we nip this in the bud, Rayleigh? I think so. And then Roger's like, Gabon, Rayleigh, take it easy, relax, chill. I wouldn't want you guys to get hurt. And then they're like, yo, Roger, you just want to fight. And like, you know, those little character interactions of like Rayleigh and Roger interacting in that playful type of manner. That's more valuable to me than any scene, man. Like, that's so awesome, dude. And the fact that Odin recognizes, like, man, I smell a wild beast. And then Roger goes in, hey there, samurai. And then he delivers what I never thought I would hear. He delivers, Roger goes on. Oda executes something I would never ever thought I'd see ever. A named attack. Roger delivers a named attack. You know what a named attack is, man? Like a regular sword swing or just a regular attack in general is already enough. We never even got that. Right? And all the different things with Shiki, right? Where he was like flagging us, Shiki, I have this weapon. Or I'm sorry, that Shiki was telling me, yo, you have this weapon that has the possibility to destroy the world. If we join together, we can take it over. Roger's like, nah, man, ain't nothing restricting me. I'm the freest man on the seas, baby. You feel me? And he goes on and says, yo, charge forward. That's all we know. We didn't know anything about his abilities, no nothing. Theories for so many years. Roger had this, Roger had that, da da da. And here in front of our faces. And not only did he attack, it's a named attack, man. This means that Roger could be in Burning Blood 2. Roger could be DLC in Power Warriors 4. Roger could be in Treasure Cruise. I don't know. But the fact that Roger has a named attack tells me he's gonna be playable in a video game one day, man. That's all I need to hear. Divine departure. Bro, say it with divine departure. When your first named attack is that legendary, it's only worthy of being the GOAT. Roger greatness, man. He just says divine departure. He releases a Getsuga Tensho. Odin gets sent absolutely flying. And what is that followed by? It is followed by Whitebeard coming in full real hockey. The same thing with Roger. And then we get a panel filled with so much hockey that my camera almost broke. You get Roger and Whitebeard in all of their glory clashing, but they don't actually clash. They get close to clashing, but they don't clash because the universe realizes that if these two swords were to meet, it would be the equivalent. They would be the equivalent of Sephiroth releasing the supernova. It'd be the equivalent. It would be the equivalent. The world's being destroyed. The galaxies are gonna start moving. Reality's gonna start shifting. Then the end of Metal Gear Solid 2 is gonna become a reality. And you're gonna be like, whoa, what we got going on? We're gonna start shifting this way. It's gonna start becoming that Interstellar movie, you know, where things start going inside of those boxes and stuff starts getting wild. You know, realities go into other realities and it'll be madness. Man, the Earth, the powers that be, we're like, man, we're stopping Roger and Whitebeard from their blades touching at all costs in order to save the future of this series, which goes into Monkey D, right? What a I mean, just look at it, bro. Just look at it, man. The fact that this exists, it's like, am I even supposed to be reading this? Like, when I read these chapters, and I talk about them with my friends, talk about them with... I almost fell. And I talk about this with any individual I meet on the internet or like wherever, right? And we talk about this particular portion. It's like, should we have read this? And it feels like we shouldn't be reading this, man. This is madness. It feels like we're looking into Oda's notes. And we took a peek inside of his drawer. We're like, peekaboo. And we were like, whoa, I looked too far. I went in too deep. And it's like, man, Roger and Whitebeard, they're not even touching. Destroying half the galaxy. You seem well to me, Roger. How many years has it been, Newgate? Drop your valuables and leave. And then they start laughing, bro. It's like, yo, like classic pirate energy, dude. And then they start fighting up in like so we're seeing a young Marco, man. Joe's like, come on, dude. That's too precious, dog. It was a clash of two great pirates at the time. The Roger Pirates versus the Whitebeard Pirates. Their pitch battle lasted for 3 days and nights. And then we get to see them, you know, a couple days later and whatnot. And then we... bro, we get young Shanks and Blackbeard. And when Buggy ran into Shanks talking about some... Yo, I don't like that guy, dog. I got beef with him on sight. Excuse me, I just met the guy. I want to steal him. I want to swing on him. You know what I'm saying? You see the guy wearing the hat, Shanks. I heard he didn't sleep a wink during the ceasefire last night or the night before. They say he's never slept in his life. And it's incredible how that one line of dialogue put... Blackbeard has already, and has been for a very long time, been one of my favorite characters in this series. And he has my favorite moment, not only just in the series, but I would dare say, you know, maybe even in fiction, man. You know, and that's something that I would have to think about because there's been so many things that I've experienced. But it is one of the most moving moments and one of the moments that means the most to me in this entire medium and in just in entertainment in general and whatever you want to say in life, whatever, right? That people's dreams never end speech, man, it means a lot to me. And the fact that it comes from Blackbeard means even more. You know, the Jaya Saga, the Skypiea Saga, and that main central theme. And Blackbeard ever since then, you know, with all the different times that we've seen him, we've met him, I always think back to that. And I'm like, man, like, Lagnard's, it's like you're the same, but you just have different ways of going about it. So, because I've always wanted to look deeper into what Blackbeard is and exactly what it is that makes his character tick, why he's so ambitious, what is it drives him. And I'll never forget the first time I saw that one SBS thing with Blackbeard and the moon hanging over me. He was crying at night, and I was like, man, Blackbeard's past has to be something out of this world, man. Like, as we've talked about many times in the community, like Blackbeard, Akainu, Dragon, these guys have to have some insane pasts, man. But when Buggy said that Blackbeard's never slept in his life, it put everything into context. It's like, what bigger of an individual that dreams the most, the one who values that more than anyone, because he himself can't dream because he can't sleep. So everything's always in constant reality to a man, and to have that be attached to the main central rival, to your main protagonist, who's one of his main central themes is chasing dreams, man, and being free. I love it, and I can't wait for that eventual meetup between Luffy and Blackbeard, and how those ideologies are gonna clash and whatnot, and of course the one with Shanks too, man. That's gonna be the most hype stuff in the history of anything. And then him saying, "I bet his life has been twice as fun," and just all of that, man. But you know, we still talk about this line right here. That's how incredible all this stuff is, dude. And they start talking about the poneglyphs. The secret cipher of the Kosuke clan of Wano passed down straight from generation to generation. It all started 13 years ago when we landed at the destination of the final log post where no one has ever reached before. A place called the Lodestar Island. But when we disembarked giddy at what we might find, we realized that it was not the final island. The needles of the log post went haywire, refusing to point to a new destination. But there is one more island. And only by going there will the unprecedented circumnavigation of the globe be complete. And then he starts talking about, you know, the poneglyphs and whatnot, and that's when he's like, yo, that's right, and I'm going to assume this says, and I'll be the king of the pirates, or whatever it is that he states here. But then Whitebeard and Odin are like, huh? And they start laughing. It's like, are you serious, Roger? Why are you a little boy? And Odin's like, Flagnards, man, like, who is this dude, bro? And that's when Roger asks him to borrow Odin. He's like, man, are you trying to steal my family from me, dog? And then we get the awesome troll face. Even when Whitebeard being pissed. This is how you know it's prime Whitebeard. Him just being angry caused the seas to shift. Goat, man, absolutely goat. We should all be free to choose. And Whitebeard's like, yo, screw this man, dude. I'm pissed off, but by God, do I love him. It was the second act of my life as a pirate. A new adventure had begun. White Kichi was a great man, but Roger too was off the charts. I'm a lucky fellow. Yo, and then right here we start seeing the interactions. It's so cute, man, with Roger holding Hiyori Rayleigh with Momo. It's like Flagnards and Neko and Irashi were like, yo, we're gonna catch a ride too, bro. The legends are here. And then just seeing all the following stuff, man, where all of, like, yo, just look at this, bro. They're all like squaddled up, like, man, just because Roger accepts you doesn't mean that we're all gonna accept you. You know, just keeping all of that still, that personality still there. And how close they eventually got to him, as you see on the bottom, like, oh, did. I am Odin, I was born to boil, man. What a legendary character. And then that's when Crocus tells him, I'd say he's got a year to live at best. And that's when Roger laughs. And then he states, so you see, I've got to make my time left count, man. And that's, you know, whenever I heard about his incurable disease and what kind of dude he is, I was like, man, I wonder how he reacted when he heard that information. And the fact that when he heard it, all he did was just laugh, as he did for everything else. It just puts into context just what kind of a man Roger is, bro, and what kind of a character he is. Gosh, man, what an awesome dude, bro. And that's whenever we see a moment that I had been wanting to see for so long. When Roger went up to Skypiea, man. And left his name there, bro. And that's when Odin writes down, the world is vast, even bigger than before, not even the gods would believe that the people live in the sky. It's so cool how Odin's journal mimics that of like an actual pirate journal that we would find in real life, right? That's when they run into the bell, man, and it was easy to find this stone. It's just packed full of strong voices. It's a story of great power, isn't it? And the message speaks of a weapon named Poseidon. I hereby guide this document to its end. Just like that, well done, Odin. Show it to me, Roger. and with the final chapter of your grand life-spanning adventure. So whenever he leaves his mark there, man. And then 967, bro. This chapter's a masterpiece. This chapter's a masterpiece, man. Like, as if all that wasn't enough, man. We get the callbacks earlier in the series. Know the North Pole, know the South Pole. And where are they at? Water 7. The chapter's called Roger's Adventure, bro. What did you say? Those stones are in your countries too? Red ones, though. That's the kind I need the most. Why didn't you say something? Roger's like, fine, Darcy, I could have helped, but... It's never, you see that he took one from Big Mom. Man, dude, I've got it in my grasp. Where is this guiding me? We're going to gather all 4 of them. If they're in Water 7, you know, going back to the whole Oro Jackson and Tom, and right here they see Tom, bro, and you know, just seeing Tom again and seeing how Roger and Shanks reacted to him. It's been ages I saw you guys. Good to see you again, Tom. Did you build the train of yours? You see ice pops, bro. You're like, Flag Norse, this is awesome. Man, Frankie, bro. Pirate, no way, I just got abandoned by pirates. You were abandoned. What a laugh. And the fact that Odin reacts in that way. And so we see the yo-ho, yo-ho. And originally I thought that this was coming from Brooke. But in actuality, it's just the crew singing the legendary Bing Sake, you know? Yo, and we see right here, whenever Toki and Odin together, you know, holding Hiyori, as they continue time to ship out Bink's brew. And right here we get to see the bridge that Robin was on, man, during the time skip. Ah, yes, Fishman Island, and with their Wakichi too. Well, don't be careless, got that? It's no less deadly in the second trip. Really, did you hear that voice? And to see this in real time, you know, this moment that I've rewatched so many times from that arc with Luffy, man, and here what is that silent down here? Who's there? Who's talking down in the depths? I hear it too. You do, Odin? You know, with the voice of all things, and you know, actually seeing how they reacted to like listening to the same things that Luffy did. Why have you come here, surface dwellers? It's me, Roger, man. Don't you recognize me, Neptune the Knight? Roger, yes, I see. So you'll be the one to do it. Do what? I'm not getting up to anything. What happened to you, Neptune? You're a man of your stature, terrified of a little prophecy. And then he talks about the prophecy, and someone will destroy the gates of Fishman Island. And now you're all here, so the natural assumption, of course, we got to see where this all leads into in chapter 968 and whatnot. But man, dude, it's, you know, just seeing all of this, you know, young Shirley, Neptune, just the way that the world was all this time ago, and how Roger and Odin, but specifically Roger and his crew, you know, interact with these environments, these very same environments that we interacted with Luffy, bro. It's like, yo, the fact that Roger came here too, and the way that he did, as it was indicated earlier on in the story, and actually seeing that adventure is so incredible. And then we start talking about Joy Boy, dude. It seemed that the 2 stones would be quite the windfall, but one of these 2 is not very important. It is an apology from someone named Joy Boy. Then you really can read this writing? What about the weapon that can control Neptunians? Is that here? The stone on the island in the sky said this is where it would be. Well, there was a prophecy that little Shirley delivered not long ago that sent a shiver down my spine. It said that a mermaid who can talk to Neptunians will soon be born. They only come around every few centuries, so perhaps. You're saying that your daughter's going to be the weapon to destroy the world one day. It's prophecy, and every power depends on how you use it. Exactly. And, you know, once again, all of this stuff was also covered in chapter 968. It's not the weapon we're after in Neptune, it's the people who called it a weapon. I still love that line from Rayleigh, man. Specifically, the vast treasure, those people left behind somewhere, left behind by the ancestors, left behind by the... Man, dude. And then whenever you think about this, it just makes you think back to 956 and 957, which I also want to cover in a video one day. When, like, man, dude, what are the implications of that, like, Vivi and Sabo, but specifically Shirahoshi? Like, why did Instant Messenger Sama have Shirahoshi's thing, you know? And we know that it's very, very important. You know, there's a reason for Oda's madness and how he, you know, integrally puts everything together. But the fact that Fishman Island was first within this grand saga post-time skip, and how important Shirahoshi is, man, and still, like, when and how is Kiribo going to deliver the information of the fact that she has an ancient weapon to the world? You know, like, all that stuff just makes you think. And these wonderful, beautiful, these panels are so precious. And just the Oro Jackson with the rest of the crew just trolling on Roger's final adventure as they go across this massive journey together, man. It's so beautiful, dude. Like, seriously, dog. And then this is whenever Toki's like, Flagnards, you know, I don't want it to stay behind. She's exhausted. And that's whenever they finally make it back. And Odin's like, man, I'm leaving on this final adventure because I have to see Roger's thing all the way to the end, man. I have to see it. And of course, we got some foreshadowing to what we're going to get here in the near future in Odin's flashback. Then they actually get to the final part of the journey. And we get some more narration from Odin, man. I took a quick copy of the poneglyph and went back to the ship. It was my first return home in 4 years and it lasted merely hours. It seems like the only way to reach Zoe is with the Vivid card. I can see why it's not even an island. It's within the matter, Odin. It's nothing, just a strange feeling. I heard it's pirates. I heard it's the Kazuki clan. And right here we get to see these very same panels that we saw within the Roger portion of the flashback from Pedro's perspective. And it's like Flagnards, man. The final road poneglyph. The Kozuki crest. That's when Roger tells him, Pedro, man, you're on the waiting list, bro. Everyone gets their time to shine. The dawn, bro. We had several real poneglyphs and the 4 road poneglyphs. And then here we go. When Roger's very close to death, man, he's coughing, he's hacking. She's just like, Flagnards, are you alright, bro? And Roger's like, man, do we know the place? Yeah, we figured it out. Where do we sail? Or when do we sail? Right now. Whether out of good fortune or bad, the apprentice deckhand Buggy Jiro caught a sudden fever, and to forego the voyage to the final island. Red Taro chose to stay behind and care for him. Are they best friends or mortal enemies? If we're gonna go there, we'll take our own ship someday. The fact that Shang stayed behind with Buggy, man. And the fact that he said that we'll take our own ship one day. Like, yo, man. Just imagine the scenarios, bro. Will Shanks actually ever get there with Buggy? And if they do, will they get there together? What about if one of them dies? Will the other go there in his stead? To go see with his own 2 eyes? The thing that Captain Roger saw with his own eyes, and the thing that Shanks and or Buggy saw? Like, those lines by themselves, I guarantee you, no matter what happens in the future, no matter who dies, no matter who lives. Because even if they both live, it's going to hit me emotionally whenever I think back to Flagnards. They said and they went and did exactly what they're going to do, and they saw it, man. They saw it. They went there with their own 2 eyes. They went to Laugh Tale and they saw the One Piece. Roger's pirate crew has finally done it. It's completed a full circumnavigation of the globe. He's the first ever. At last, someone has conquered the sea. He's the king of the sea. The king of the pirates. It's so amazing seeing all of this and the way the world reacted to it. Of like, Flagnards, he did it. Roger did it, the king of the pirates. And it's like, it's so interesting because for so long I had thought that the world thought so negatively of Roger. You know, saw him as this villain. But in actuality, a lot of people were rooting for him. They're like, man, it looks like he did it. He became the king of the pirates. And then through their agenda and propaganda and whatnot, the government turned it around to make it seem like Roger was this massive villain as they tried to make it, you know, as the entire journey went on. I'm sorry, as it went on from then on. But you saw that at the very least there's certain individuals out there in the world that were still fascinated by Roger and still captured by his charisma. Where even if they recognized him as like, man, he's that villain of the world government, but he's the king of the pirates, bro. Like, Flagnards, man. That's so awesome. And on that day, here we go, bro. And on that day, we learned the entire truth of the world. What the 100-year void is. I can't wait to see that. What the people of the D are. What the ancient weapons are. In the past, Wano was open to the world. And in the face of that vast treasure, which was very real indeed, Roger just laughed. And it is in what is without question one of the most iconic panels already in the entire series, man. I still feel the same way about this panel now than I did when I first read it, man. This is one panel that I will always be grateful that I was a part of the experience, to be able to experience it together with all of you, man. Roger just laughed. Like, wow, man. And so did we all. We laughed until tears sprang to our eyes. Oh, joy, boy. I wish I'd been born in your time. This is quite a treasure you left behind, a tale full of laughs. Say, that gives me an idea. We're the first people to reach this final island in 800 years. Why don't we give it a name? We'll call it Laugh Tale. It's like, man, anytime that I need a reminder as to why I'm so excited for Endgame One Piece. Why this series makes me feel the way that I do. All I have to do is go back and reread that. Because if that's how I felt when Roger reached the One Piece, how in the world am I gonna feel when I see the Straw Hats in the face of the very same treasure, man? And what kind of answer will they come to upon learning the truth? It's those things that make this journey so incredible, man. What an amazing series, and what an amazing stretch of chapters, man. I'll see y'all next time. I really wanted to just come on here and get all that off my chest, man. Just like I did for the Reverie stuff, I had to talk about it again, bro. Roger greatness. Shout out to my boy. What an amazing part of that flashback, and one that I will always cherish, man. Hopefully in the future we'll get some more Roger stuff, like with the God Valley, and maybe some more insight into the beginning of his journey and just his journey in general, man. I can never get enough of the Roger stuff. Greatness, man. One Piece awesome sauce, dude.